Welcome back to the Solo Promoter YouTube channel. My name is Grant. Thanks for being here. On this channel, we talk about tabletop pro wrestling games, but on Wednesdays, we talk comic books, or around Wednesdays, we talk comic books anyway. We talk about the comics I bought last week and the comics that I picked up this week during the week. And we have a bunch of stuff here today that we are going to talk about. Before I get going on this, I do want to say, when you watch a lot of comic book things on YouTube, the algorithm gets to know you and it starts serving you other things. And I have got just a ton of videos suggested to me where the titles are obviously very clickbaity. Disney is getting rid of Marvel Comics. Disney hates Marvel. This is the end of Marvel Comics, blah, 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 blah. And out of curiosity, I watch these. And then when I watch them, inevitably, the person will start out by saying, Disney is going to cancel all Marvel. They're just using it to keep the IP alive. This is it. This is Marvel's going to end. And they always go, but when these big companies go out of business, there'll still be independent creators. I have a comic book that's available right now that you can pick up. And it's always very interesting that the people who are very doom and gloom about, and maybe Disney is getting rid of Marvel Comics. I don't know. But it's just interesting to me that all of these videos that have this title will start talking about how horrible Disney is for Marvel Comics and how they're going to shut it all down, but then conveniently segue into their own comic books. I guess do what you got to do to make some money on YouTube, I guess. All right, let's talk about, we'll get to this week's comics. And the comics I got this week. Let's talk about what I read last week. Actually, let's go in kind of this order, because this was the order I liked to. Batman, this was good. It's better than it has been. But, yeah, and spoilers kind of as I'm flipping through this. Yeah, I don't, I might give it a couple more issues, but I'm kind of leaning on taking it off of my pull list. It's fine. It's just not capturing me, and, trying to pare down how much I spend each week. This is one that could be pared down. Then we get to The Punisher, and I've talked about this before, about how The Punisher, they just really want it to be as bloody and graphic as possible, and I talked about how I was reading, I guess it was volume 2 of The Punisher, and while it is very violent, it's just not graphic. I mean, look at this cover. Very interesting to see this cover. I will say that I liked this story better. There wasn't a ton of totally, kind of gross out. And I'm not squeamish at all. I wanted to. I mean, there's this obviously, but there's not a lot of like super graphic, bloody and stuff like that. I did like this. There's a character that I don't want to spoil, but debuts at the end of this issue. I don't know if it's a new character. It might be a character from, because I have not read every single Punisher thing, despite my fandom. So maybe it's a new character that's coming back, but very interesting character. I'll say that much. And so there you go. The Punisher, still going to get it, still going to pick it up, because I'm a Punisher fan. All right. My favorite comic book, I've talked about this. My current favorite comic book that is being produced, Fantastic Four. This issue was great. It says on the cover, not Ghost Rider, but an incredible simulation. And I think we talked about that last time. And I said, I wonder which Ghost Rider it is, and it had the chains, so I was thinking maybe it's Dan Ketch. And I will say that Ghost Rider does appear in this book. You're kind of not sure which Ghost. It's either going to be Johnny Blaze or Danny Ketch. I'm not 100% sure of where each of those guys are currently in the Marvel Universe, but one of them does appear at the end, a very funny scene. But this book is just great. I'm loving this book. As I said, I am not a ginormous Fantastic Four fan, but I'm becoming one because of this book. This book, it's just so much fun. It's really great. I will say that the art is different in this one than it has been. And if it was one critique, I'm going to say I'm not 100% fan of this artwork. Because, I mean, if you look, I don't know. I'm not 100%, way better artwork than I can ever do. I just prefer the artwork in the previous issues But this one, but you know, comic books, they change they change artists, they go in and out. And so anyway, love Fantastic Four. My pick of the month every month so far since I started reading it. All right, this is the John Byrne X-Men Elsewhen. I'm still working my way through it. And I just thought, when I read this, I just thought, oh, you know, this is going to be about this team of Colossus and Cyclops and, you know, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and Storm. And it's been really, really good. And I have not read the original things that John Byrne posted to his website. But I'm loving this. I think it's a lot of fun. And I was super, super excited. This is kind of spoiler alert as we go through here. There's a whole storyline about the Sentinels and how they're like these kind of advanced Sentinels. And the Sentinels go to Muir Island. This issue, it starts with Muir Island. And I was kind of reading and I was like, oh, I wonder... I don't know when this in the time period takes place or whatever, but my favorite mutant of all time is Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man. And that is because of Peter David's writing in X Factor and then the X Factor investigations. Absolutely loved it. And so flipping through this, I was reading it late one night. And let me see, where do they go to? I think this is... spoiler alert as I'm going through here. Yeah, Muir Island. And this is where they're on... but there's Jamie Madrox! Like, this, where's the first panel? Because the first panel, I got so excited. Let me find it. Oh, yeah, here. So, we looked to the Scottish mainland to a few hours ago, and it's like, somebody living, and it says... thanks, Mrs. McAdams. I'll be back next week for those goods. And now there's a fine lad, always so polite. He should be married to a nice lass himself. He would be if he lived here. But I just saw this picture, and I go, is that Jamie Madrox? Because I could just see the little bit of his classic uniform there. And I don't think it says Jamie anywhere yet. But then down here it says, "Morning, Jamie. Ready to head back to Muir Island?" I was like, wait, is Jamie Madrox in here? And then it turns out when they kind of have this brawl with Magneto, that it is him. And I don't think he's any sort of big main character. In fact, at a later point, they do say, like, should we have left Jamie back on the island? Anyway, I'm liking this a lot. And I'm liking this better than recent X-Men books that I have picked up. And not just because Jamie Madrox is in it. That was a pleasant surprise. So super excited to keep reading that. And I will say that I'm over halfway through. If you look at my index card bookmark here, I'm going to be bummed when it's over because the next issue doesn't come out till next year, right? All right. So that's what I've read this week. And Fantastic Four, my favorite. And then this X-Men Elsewhen just bumped up a notch because Jamie Madrox is in it. All right, I do want to show the new comics that I picked up this week, and it's kind of a lot because I did an eBay thing, and there's a lot of comics here. Anyway, we're gonna get to this. I do want to say that my subscription to Daredevil, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you know that I did subscription through mail on Daredevil, and I just showed my address, so I'll have to block that out. Oh, that's my P.O. box. That's fine. You can have my P.O. box. Send me stuff in my P.O. box. So this book I already have, and this is just, I was subscribed to Daredevil, and then they ended that book, and so I just started buying Daredevil, and now I'm getting 2 copies of everything, but that's fine. I will use them as giveaways at some point. Now, a friend of mine, who I actually only know online, and I know online from my wrestling games that I play, and that is Brad, aka Mad Dog. He sent me a box. We had gone back and forth with a trade for this card game, Go Fight Pow, and he sent me a big box of stuff, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. He sent me 4 Against Darkness, which he highly recommended, and I've always read about, but I have not read, so I'm excited to check this out. So thank you, Brad, for sending this in. Really appreciate it. But Brad also sent me a Superman stamp, but also sent me this little stack of comics, and I have absolutely no idea what is in this stack of comics. So we are going to find out together as we open this. And this was really cool. Maybe I'll send my double issues to people because that seems to be a very cool thing to do. All right. So I got a Superman stamp here. Let me take that off the back. And let's see what we got from Brad. I will, oops, these are kind of still taped together here. All right, well, we've got some Transformers. We've got some Spawn. All right, so there was a brief edit there as I just took all the tape off because it was just loud and not interesting to watch. So what we got? King Spawn #1. Super excited to check that out. Spawn number 314. As I said, I have not read a Spawn comic book in over a decade, 2 decades. Transformers, interested in checking this out. I actually like the art here on the cover of that. Free Comic Book Day, Conan, Scourge of the Serpent. There's 2 Conan books in here. I have not read any Conan the Barbarian, so excited to check that out. Here's Batman 160. Captain America, I think we saw these ones as I was kind of pulling them around. Space Ghost Annual. That'll be fun to read. I've never read any Space Ghost either. The thing of Space Ghost is the old TV show. That's it. And King Spawn 45. Awesome. Puppeteer. I like that. Or it says Puppet Test. Puppet. Anyway. It's got the word puppet on it. I like it. So Brad, thank you so much for sending this along. Also with the Go Fight Pal card that we traded for. And For Against Darkness. So awesome. Appreciate it. I cannot wait to read all of those. Now, here is my crazy eBay auction that I bid on. And this is probably something I should have taken the tape off of, but these actually are painter's tape. Actually, let's open this one. I saw this auction. It was going for a decent price, so I picked it up. This is a whole run of Marvel Comics Presents. And I've mentioned this on the channel before, but Marvel Comics Presents was the first, when I had read ElfQuest comics like when I was a kid, and we would stop somewhere and we would get like we would be on a long road trip and we would stop somewhere, and I would like grab an ElfQuest. Like the art appealed to me, but I could never get into it because the story was way too adult for me as a kid. But then in high school, when I first started reading comics, also we had the barber shop we used to go to as a kid. They had this big table of magazines, and when I wasn't trying to sneak peeks at the Playboy magazines that were, it was just this big, I would say like 7-foot round table that just had tons and tons of magazines on it. You could just literally dig through, and it was like every kind of magazine. It was Time, it was National Geographic, it was Playboy, but they had some comics, and there was like some Thor comics on there. And I just remember like I couldn't understand at the time. I was literally like 9 or 10. I couldn't understand like the writing, "Thou art to verily," you know, I was just like, I don't get what this means. Anyway, the first comic that I picked up that I read and I was like, hey, I love this, was a Marvel Comics Presents. I wish I can probably narrow it down to what comic book it was, but that's going to be a video for another time. Anyway, I saw this run. I love Marvel Comics Presents. I picked it up for a very good price for the number of books that are here. And we're not going to spend a ton of time through this, but we'll go through. So number 1. Number 2, number 3, it's got a Daredevil story, so that's great. Number 11, so you can see it's not a full run. This one is classic. Number 19, because this is the first appearance of Damage Control, which I did a video. The only slabbed comic I have is a 9.8 of this comic, because I love Damage Control. Now, I think Yeah, I don't think it's included in here. I think number 9 is the first appearance of Jack Monroe, I think, as Nomad, where he gets rid of the old costume and gets his 90s trench coat and sunglasses. Anyway, 24, 25, 26, 27. I don't think when I got this, the first Marvel Comics Presents, I don't think it was Havoc as the lead story. Excalibur, it might have been Excalibur. 41, I think it was Wolverine. It had to have been Wolverine, I think. 44, 47. I love these wraparound covers. I did like Sean from Basement Comics say, I did get some clear backing boards. They're over there. I'm not going to go get them. But I did get some clear backing boards so that I can bag these with clear backing boards. Wolverine versus Spider-Man. The Weapon X run, 75, 77, 78, 79. I had all these. I should not have sold them, but it was a different time in my... Actually, I didn't sell them. I donated them all to charity. And then here was part 2. This was all part of the same auction, so it was just one auction with all this stuff in it. And I'm not somebody who's like, oh, I need them in near mint condition. Here's 80, 81. Oh man, I remember having all these comic books. 82, 83, 84. Then we jumped to 89, 90. I remember I loved Sam Keith's art. And this is where I first saw it. I just thought his art was incredible. 91, 92, 93, 94. It's outlandish. It's very, outlandish and crazy, but 96, 98. Now, today, while I was in House of Secrets, I saw that they had a copy of Marvel Comics Presents number 100, and I was like, should I get it? Oh, I don't know if it's in the stack that I bought. So next week I may pick it up if it's still there. No, it's here. Okay, so 100. I have 100. And then these. Oh, these are Marvel Comics Presents. That's right. I forgot. The covers were just so different. 143 and 144 because Ghost Rider became the lead character. So there you go. A fair whack of Marvel Comics Presents. I loved this book. I just love the idea of you're getting like 3 or 4 short stories in one book, different characters. It's an anthology series. It rotates around. I think it's fantastic. And super excited to pick it up. And super excited to get those back covers in clear backing boards like a true comic book nerd. All right. I did get one more thing this week from an eBay auction that I got, I think, a reasonable deal on, considering what it is. And it's something I've actually been looking for a long time. And I've seen these YouTube videos. Doc Comics has done it, and Matt Likes Comics has done it. They talk about how they kind of have a list of comics they want to pick up this year. And when I got back into comics, I was like, this is one I want to get because I never had it, and I really want to pick it up. It is a key issue, and that is the Mighty Thor number 411. I paid $20 for this on eBay. Don't tell me if that's a horrible idea or a bad idea. I got it from Quality Comics. I got it from their eBay auction. This is the first appearance of the New Warriors as a team. And so I think it is the first appearance of Night Thrasher. Now, I think I might have read this on Marvel Unlimited. But I don't think I've never owned the comic book, even when I Man, these ads just bring back the memories. So Thor versus Juggernaut, you gotta love it. And it's war, total war. So this is where we get the new warriors. Vance Astrovic. Wait, okay, so, but even as the Thunder God struggles to regain his strength, continue battle, anxious eyes observe. Thor looks like he's in serious world of hurt. Gotta call the others. The time has come for us to ask. Without moments of hesitation, Richard Ryder patches into a highly classified computer bulletin board. Are we ready? Can we really make a difference? Only one way to find out. It's war! Moments later, in the suburban home of Vance Astrovic, at last, I'm finally going to get a chance to prove myself. The message is received with mixed emotions for Angelica Jones. I've been dreading this call for weeks, and I'm afraid to respond, but I can't let the others down. Total war. A computer game is interrupted in the home of Robbie Baldwin. Hey Rob, your PC just went on the blink. Guess that's all for today, guys. See you later. Gotta get hoppin'. And in the college dorm room of Nita Prentice, Yahoo, it's action time. And just then, in the penthouse apartment of Dwayne Michael Taylor, crazy kid, probably going to get himself killed. Sure, I'll put a damper on my cushy lifestyle. Cord, old boy, you'll probably have to go back to mercenary work, and you just can't find a decent cappuccino in the bush. Knew I'd find him here, spending most of his life training, preparing. School's out, kid. The signal just came in. Consider yourself on active duty. So that is the first appearance of Night Thrasher. I'm pretty sure that is his first appearance. And then we have our first team appearance of the new Warriors, I believe, in this. Thor versus Juggernaut. There we go. It's the last panel introducing the new Warriors. What is the rest of this book? There's a lot more. Oh, it's a Beta Ray Bill story. Very excited to read this, and then when I read this, and then I'm just going to start reading New Warriors in order as I get them, because I love me the New Warriors. There you go, the Mighty Thor. All right, that is all the old new books I got. Let's talk about the new books I got. Actually, there's one old book in here as well. Today I went to House of Secrets, local comic book store extraordinaire. Let's see. All right. Absolute Batman. Gonna give it a shot. Gonna give it a read. I'm getting a little, just a little meh about it. I love Batman. It's just both of these stories are not grabbing me. So, but I know that, sometimes comics goes in cycles and you don't like a storyline, you might like a storyline. So we'll see what we got here. Daredevil, number 4. Excited to check this out. And see if I like the art. Just peeking at the art, seeing how the just the story. I wasn't 100% on the story, the last one, but excited to see. Excited to see. And then this was in not the dollar box. It was $3.99, but just another Punisher book to fill in the final days. Punisher number 53, part 1 of 7. That's kind of why I got it, because I was like, well, I can read it, and it's not ruining any other storylines. But that's it. These are besides this huge stack of vintage comics. The other thing is, I think I'm done with the vintage comics. I have so many I need to read, so many I need to get through, that I think I'm just going to, we'll see how long this lasts, stick to new comics for the time being. Because I really have so much I have to read and I have to get through, and especially with this Marvel Comics Presents thing, I'm going to rebag and board them. I'm going to get them in the collection. I'm going to start reading them. Would it be interesting at all if I took some of my favorite comic books like Daredevil or Marvel Comics Presents and did kind of read an issue and then did a short video on it, oh, here's what happened in this issue. This was good. This was interesting. Would that be interesting at all? If you've made it this far, let me know, because you are one of the true great ones. There you have it. I'm going to wrap it up here because otherwise it's just going to go too long. Thank you so much for checking this out. Big shout out to all the Golden Circle channel members. I think what I am going to start doing is record these on Wednesday and then put them out publicly on Thursday, but that way it does give the channel members first dibs on them, because I was trying to get them out on Wednesday, but it doesn't really matter towards views or anything. And I think if they come out Thursday morning, no one's going to be like, I'm not going to watch this because it came out the morning of the day after. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Thank you so much for being here. Check out other comic book people on YouTube and buy their comics because Disney is ruining Marvel. All right, bye everybody. See you later.